To me, it's amazing to look out across the world and know what I'm looking at. To be able to have that depth of knowledge into, okay, why is that mountain range there? Why does it look the way it looks? There's just such a power in the curiosity and then having the understanding. For me, it was never enough to just like, oh, that's a cool mountain. I wonder what it is. And then just off I go and I never find out. So I love the getting the power and having the agency to like understand the world that I live on. I'm Kelly Hattori, and I am a carbonate geologist at the Bureau of Economic Geology. So I study limestones, putting together the history, the evolution of marine systems through time in what we call shallow water systems. Like you go to the Bahamas and you see all those really cool reefs and things, really cool shoals and shorelines. I work on stuff like that. But I also work in what's called mixed systems. A mixed system is a system that is composed of both siliciclastic and carbonate sediments, which means siliciclastics being sediments that are mostly coming from land, eroding off of the mountains, getting moved through the rivers, and being exported out to sea, versus carbonate sediments, which are generally the remains of marine organisms. My undergraduate degree was originally in marine biology, and then the way I kind of stumbled into geology, I had to take an out-of-department class, and I took this class that was called Prehistoric Life, which I thought sounded cool. Everybody likes dinosaurs and stuff. This lady walked in the room, and she said, "Hi, I'm Dr. Trisha Kelly, and I'm a paleontologist." And I went, "Oh, you can be a paleontologist?" I thought that was like just movies. So I ended up adding the geology major. So I kind of became like a double scientist, a double science major. It just so happened that one summer that I was looking for internships, I had applied for these great marine biology internships, which paid really well. And I had applied for these National Park Service internships, which paid not so well. And I heard back from the National Park Service internships first. So I took the Park Service internships, and it ended up being the thing that drove me into geology. So I worked for the Park Service after I graduated, and I had a job at Florissant Fossil Beds National Monument, which is in Colorado. It has these amazing fossilized sequoia trees. They're massive. I decided that I need to further my education, go to grad school. So I looked for programs that would allow me to kind of intersect my specialties in marine biology and geology. So on the marine biology side, I did reefs, and on the geology side, I did paleontology. So I said, well, I'll just do coral reef paleontology. And that's how I ended up at UT. From there, I kind of discovered a broader love of putting together these systems. What climatic factors are impacting these reefs through time, and how are they changing? Where are they moving? What kinds of animals are coming in and out? Things like that. Charlie Cairns had given me basically a research project my last semester, rooted in an argument he was having with his son, and they bet each other a case of beer that there were or weren't this type of organism in this one formation in Texas. And it turns out that he was wrong, and his son won the case of beer, and I won a job out of that. So that worked out. And I kept evolving my skill sets until I had enough of a broad skill base that I was able to land a full-time position here at the Bureau, like a permanent position. So my job is three main components. I do a lot of subsurface studies, and then I do field work, and then I do outreach. You have to be able to get your science out there and show people what you're doing. I do a lot of talks. I do a lot of presentations at conferences, but also presentations at local geologic societies, or we might run what's called a core workshop, where we have a bunch of individuals, geologists come in, and we show them our cool rocks. I just get 70 people captive, and I get to go, "Oh, see my cool rocks," and then everybody goes, "Wow, amazing," and then we all have a great time. I do a lot of field work, and I currently have 3 field studies kind of running concurrently, a mixed carbonate siliciclastic system in the Sacramento Mountains of New Mexico, kind of a brand new frontier project in a mountain range called the Quitmans in West Texas, a project in southeastern Arizona. And I occasionally help other people with their projects. I'll work up in Colorado, Puerto Rico, Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas. The majority of my job is working what we call the subsurface. So working on what is beneath our feet. When an oil and gas company comes and they drill a well, they might take a core out of that well. So they'll extract a tube of rock from, 5,000, 10,000 feet below the ground. A lot of my job is describing those rocks and looking at what those systems could be. A core is 4 inches wide, and you have to use that 4-inch tube of rock to extrapolate across many miles and try and figure out what's going on in the system. But it's also a pretty tough challenge to work with. So I really enjoy it. Find something that excites you and then find where it intersects with something that can be practical, that can have application. My job is amazing and everything, but I also love that other people can use that to advance what they are trying to do. That's really critical for building a career that gives you some resiliency, and I think it gives you a lot of purpose. Geoscience is so diverse and it has such a broad range of roles. You know, there's going to be something that fits you way better than anything else, and I think finding that is what will keep you happy.
Thanks for watching Meet a Geoscientist, a series by the Bureau of Economic Geology. For more information on this topic, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this conversation, like and subscribe to discover more career paths in geoscience.